everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Abhisha Gulati, and we are studying chapter number 2 of Psychology, Class 12, Self and Personality. So this is the third part of this chapter, and we have covered self of this chapter. So we have covered the self part of this chapter, and now we will start with personality. Now, in the first lecture, we talked about what is the difference between self and personality. Let us just brush it up first before we begin with what is personality, what are the different theories of personality, and what are the other related terms to personality. Very interesting chapter, and I'm sure you will love this chapter because this is my favorite chapter out of all these chapters. Actually, all chapters are my favorite, but yeah, this is a very beautiful chapter, especially this portion. Now, while self talks about your conscious experiences, ideas, beliefs about yourself with regard to your own experiences, with regard to yourself, personality is the outward expression of those conscious experiences, conscious thoughts. Personality is what others can see, the side of you that others can see, that is overt, observable, and personality are basically the characteristic ways in which you are different from one another. And by characteristic ways, what I mean is that personality is how you remain relatively stable across situations. So personality refers to the characteristic ways that are fairly stable across situations and over time, and that make you different from other people. So let us begin with the concept of personality. Now, the word personality comes from a Latin word, that is persona. The Latin word persona means a mask. So persona used to be a mask which actors in ancient Rome used to wear in Roman theaters so that they could change their whole facial makeup. So actors used to get on the stage, wear these masks, and then act whatever role they were asked to play, and then get off the stage, remove these masks. So these masks, basically after putting these masks, audience expected these actors to perform in a certain way that coordinated, that coincided with what the role was on the mask. Okay. Now, very important line written in the NCERT and in the notes is that, however, it did not mean that the person enacting the given role necessarily possessed those qualities. Okay, so keep this in mind. Now that we understood that the word personality comes from persona, that meant a mask that people used to wear to act or to just take over a kind of role in a particular manner. For a lay person, for a layman, if you go on the streets and just ask anybody, they will perceive personality as someone's physical appearance or physical characteristics. So when you say that he or she is very good looking, or you say that he has a beautiful personality, he has a charming personality, so you are just talking about their physical appearances. However, this might be misleading, and this kind of overview of personality is not 100% accurate. It is 50% accurate. Okay, so personality consists of both psychological and physical aspects, and not just physical aspects, but that is what a layman thinks. So this is based on superficial impressions. A 1-marker question could come from here. Also, a 1-marker question, most of the time a 1-marker question comes from which word does personality derive from, or what is like anything related to the origin of personality. So personality was derived from dash, a Latin word dash. So personality was derived from a Latin word persona. Okay. Now, in psychological terms, personality means how, as a person, are you responding to different individuals and different situations. So different people can respond in different ways, and the ways in which they respond depend upon their personality. So in our NCERT, the definition of personality is that personality, let us understand it step by step, very easy. Personality refers to the unique and relatively stable qualities. So those qualities of a person that are unique, that means they are different from others, distinct, no other person has the same quality, and unique and relatively stable. So these qualities do not change easily. These qualities are relatively stable. This means that it is not possible that today I am calm and tomorrow I become angry and arrogant and short tempered. So these qualities of a person are unique, different from others, and they are relatively stable. Stable in relation to different circumstances. So when we talk about relatively stable, we mean that in 8 out of 10 situations, these qualities are stable. For example, if a person is calm, in 8 out of 10 situations, the person will remain calm. But however, maybe in one situation, an exception, maybe the building catches fire and the person has to run and the person is very anxious about the situation, then the person might not remain calm. So relatively stable means that those qualities that remain the same, that do not change in most of the situations. So personality is a person's relatively stable qualities which are unique, and these qualities characterize an individual's behavior. So these qualities influence or base act as a foundation of a person's behavior. If I'm calm, my behavior would be different from if I'm arrogant or if I'm short tempered. If a person is very, you can say, very outgoing, the behavior will differ from a person who is withdrawn. For example, if the personality of a person, if a person has qualities of if a person has qualities, outgoing qualities, a person will be likely to attend the party, whereas a person who is withdrawn may not attend that party. Now this has influenced their behavior. So these unique and relatively stable qualities characterize an individual's behavior. And how do they characterize their behavior? Across different situations. So in different situations, over a period of time, not at one moment of time, but over a period of time, because they are relatively stable, they characterize an individual's behavior. Okay, now let us read uh, this entire definition altogether, and let us understand it once again. Okay, so personality refers to the unique and relatively stable qualities that characterize an individual's behavior across different situations over a period of time. Each and every word is very important in the definition. Though you are getting MCQs, I would recommend you to at least write this definition once or twice, break down and understand it in a holistic manner. It is very easy. Okay. Also, in any moment, if you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section down below. I would be happy to help you guys. Okay. Now, personality also reflects consistency. So, as we talked, that personality is your behavior. A personality is the relatively stable qualities that a person possesses So these relatively stable qualities are consistent over most situations. For example, an honest person is likely to remain honest in most of the times. And if I see a person remaining honest in 8 out of 10 situations, I would say that honesty is a part of his or her personality. However, if I just see a person speaking truth in just 1 out of 10 situations, I might not say personality is a part of honesty is a part of their personality. Okay, so for any trait to be a part of your personality or for personality of any person, it needs to be relatively stable or consistent. Secondly, it is possible that situations affect a person's behavior in such a way that they do not uh, overlap or do not agree with the personality. For example, if a highly honest person is on a gunpoint and has to lie, then the person will lie, and that does not mean that the personality has changed. That means that due to situational variations, due to variations in the situation, and due to situational factors, there were variations in his or her behavior. So it is important to note that situational variations in behavior do occur as they help an individual in adapting to their environment. Because if that person will not speak the truth, the person will not survive, maybe would be shot by a gun. So sometimes variations in behaviors are useful in adapting to environmental circumstances. Okay. Now, there are 4 important features of personality. Let us understand them one by one. Okay, firstly, personality has both physical and psychological components. That means that personality has both physical components. Personality talks about your physical characteristics. You are tall, short, you have golden hair, you have blue hair, you have blue eyes, you are slim, fat, you are healthy, you are medium body. That is your physical aspect. And psychological aspect, you're shy, you're withdrawn, you're worried. Most of the times you are uh, outgoing, you are dominant, submissive, etc. Okay. Secondly, the expression of personality is fairly unique. By fairly unique, I mean that most people or most people have similar traits, right? Most people have traits of confidence, shyness in varying degrees, but the way you express your traits, the expression of your traits, your qualities, your attributes is fairly unique in terms of behavior in every individual. Even two calm people will express their calmness differently in a given situation. So the expression of personality is fairly unique, and that is why they say that personality is the relatively stable characteristics that make you different from others, because the expression of personality is fairly unique in its nature. Okay. Now, thirdly, the main features of personality do not change easily. Now, what I mean by main features is again that some parts of your personality will change with time, but the main features of personality, the core features of your personality, the building blocks of your personality do not change very easily. Even in strict situations, even when situational influences are very powerful and the situational influences demand you to modify your behavior in order to adapt to those situations, sometimes the main parts or the main characteristics of your personality do not change. However, the fourth point says that personality is dynamic. So, personality is stable in the sense that the main features of a personality do not change. But personality is dynamic. Dynamic means change, to change. Okay. So personality is dynamic at the same time. Why? because the main features, however, the main features of a personality do not change, but the features that are required to change, that the features that one requires to change in order to adapt to the situational influences, in order to adapt to the environment, modify the environment, those small features change from situation to situation, or they can change in terms of the expression in their behavior. For example, again that example, so during the pandemic, a lot of outgoing people had to stay indoors, irrespective of their likings and dislikings and their preference of going out or inside. A lot of outgoing people had to stay indoors because the situational influences, that is the coronavirus, the COVID-19, was so powerful that in order to adapt in that situation, they had to stay indoors. So some traits of a personality are dynamic. They change from situation to situations, or at least the expressions in terms of behavior change from situation to situations, but the main features of a personality are fairly stable. So personality is adaptive to situations. Okay. Now, one important point that we should remember as psychology students is that why are we studying personality after all? Why is it important to study how a person is different from another? What characteristics do um, uh, cause these differences? Why am I calm and you are arrogant? Or why am I outgoing but you are withdrawn? Why do we need to study personality? We need to study personality in order to make predictions. Now, predictions are very important sometimes in the field of psychology, right? So, if we understand the personality of a person, if we understand the main features of a personality, of the personality of a person, we can predict how a person will behave in a variety of circumstances. And if we understand personality in an effective manner, we will be able to deal with people in realistic and acceptable ways. I'll give you an example. If we know that a person is dominating in nature, we can use such strategies that can help us divert or direct that dominance in a positive way, or in a way that it helps or it adds to the functioning of the company. So if your boss, if an employee is very dominating, we might ask that employee to become the leader of a small group, or we must give that employee leader. So only if we know their characteristics can we use them, or can we deal with them in realistic and acceptable ways. Another example given in the NCERT is that if you understand that a child doesn't like following orders, then you can use effective ways other than instructing them in order to help the child function as a better part of the society. Okay. Now, a very, very important, very interesting topic, personality related terms. A lot of students forget studying this because they either they forget it, or either they just don't study this topic because it's a very small topic and they feel that it is too complicated to understand. But it is very interesting, and if you just listen to me very carefully, you will understand the difference between these 6 terms verbatim. Okay. So there are some terms that are often overlapped or or confused with personality. So when we say personality, there are terms like temperament, trait, disposition, character, habit, value that we often confuse it with. But they're different terms. However, though they are different terms, a lot of features overlap as well. Okay. One line definitions are given in the NCERT of each and every term of these, each and every term. So we will not focus in depth, but we will understand how these terms are different from each other with the help of examples. Okay. The first term is temperament. So temperament. Okay. So now imagine I come to your house and I ask your parents, how was this child when he or she was or they were young? So your parents say, okay, my child, my daughter, son, or my child in general, my ward was very, very naughty. Okay. Or he was, or they were very cheerful. Or let us say my ward was very shy and very introverted, very withdrawn, did not talk to many people. So, temperament is your biologically based characteristic way of reacting. What traits are inherent in you? You are biologically withdrawn. If you do not like to socialize a lot, that is inherent right from the beginning of your childhood, or maybe even your parents do not like socializing, or your grandparents also are the same. This is in your genes. So temperament, your temperament is your biologically based characteristic way of reacting. Now a lot of people also perceive temperament as hot temperament and cold temperament. So some people have very hot temperament, like they are very short tempered, very angry, and very a lot of overpowering emotions. So that can also be a perspective of looking at it. But basically, temperament is your qualities. Temperament refers to the traits that you have, the characteristics that you have that are biologically based in nature. And they are the biologically based ways in which you react to different stimuli in the environment. Okay. Okay. Now, after temperament comes traits. So traits are very simple. Traits are psychological attributes. Okay. I don't think I need to explain it further because we have understood psychological attributes in chapter number 1. So traits basically means your psychological attributes, your stable, persistent ways of behaving. For example, if your trait is outgoing, that is a stable, persistent, not changing easily way of behaving in different situations. Now, disposition. Now, what is disposition? Okay, first of all, do not confuse it with predisposition, because predisposition is a term we will understand in chapter 4. So do not confuse it with it. It is different from predisposition. We are not talking about predisposition right now. We are just talking about disposition. Okay. Now, what is disposition? Disposition means what is your tendency to react in a situation. For example, if my disposition is calmness, if I am a calm person, then you can tell that I'm disposed, it is my tendency to react calmly even in a stressful situation. So that is your disposition. So it is a tendency of a person to react in a particular way. And disposition is highly linked with temperament. It's dependent on your temperament. If your biologically based characteristic is calm, then disposition is dependent on that, because that is your tendency to react in a way. Okay. Now comes character. Character. Okay. Now, just as students get character certificates when they leave their school, when they pass from the school, character is the overall view of a person. In totality, if we talk about in holistic terms, what is the overall pattern of your behavior? That is your character. It also is fairly linked with moral grounds. So, in an overall sense, how was the student? That is what is written in a character certificate. In a similar way, character basically means the overall pattern of regularly occurring behavior. So, whatever behavior is regularly occurring in a person, what is the overall pattern in that behavior? Now comes the fifth term, habit. A habit is something we also learned in chapter 6, that is learning class 11. What we mean by habit is repetitive patterns of behavior. So overlearned modes of behavior. For example, brushing teeth every morning is your habit. So these are behaviors which are repetitive in nature. They repeat every day. Or picking up, nowadays people have a habit of picking up their phone and opening social media just as they wake up, which is a very unhealthy habit according to me. But people have habits of meditating at 4 a.m. in the morning, or a habit of biting their nails, again an unhealthy habit, but yes. So these are habits, these are overlearned modes of behavior. These modes of behavior you have learned overly, and you have overlearned them, and they are inherent in your daily activity. Okay, now comes the last term, value. Value is again something related to your morals. Basically, what are the goals and ideals that according to you are important in life? For example, you must speak the truth. You must respect elders. According to you, according to a person, these goals and ideals are important and they are worthwhile. So, values refer to the goals and morals and ideals that are important and worthwhile to achieve. Okay. Now we have done these 6 terms. One marker question, I can guarantee one marker question will come from either of these 6 terms. So I would suggest you to at least read them twice or thrice and understand the difference, because now just an MCQ will come and maybe a definition will be given to you and you'll have to choose whether it's the definition of trait, disposition, character, habit, or whatever. So just understand it properly. I hope you understood it. If you have any doubts, if you want me to give other examples, let me know in the comment section down below. Okay. Now we are over with the basic outlook of personality. We have understood what is personality. Personality refers to the relatively stable ways, the unique and relatively stable qualities in which an individual differ from others, that is relatively stable over a period of time across different situations, right? Now, we have understood the 4 features of personality. Let us just recall it one by one. So the first feature of personality is both physical and psychological. Second feature is personality expression is fairly unique in each person. Thirdly, personality is relatively stable. The main features of personality are relatively stable. And fourth is complete opposite of the third. Personality is dynamic in the sense that a lot of features change with respect to different situations in order to adapt to the environment. Okay. Now, before we begin with the main theories of personality, let us just have an overview of how many theories we have. So we have 8 theories. Sorry. I'm really sorry. We have 8 approaches to personality. Okay. And there are a lot of theories within these 8 approaches. First approach is type approach. Second approach is trait approach. Third is situational approach. Okay. Fourth approach is psychodynamic approach. Okay. Fifth approach is your, just a second. Yeah, fifth approach is cultural approach. Cultural approach. Sixth is humanistic approach. Seventh approach is behavioral approach. And eighth approach of personality is your, okay, psycho is your new Freudian approach. I forgot to mention it. And this should be psychoanalytical approach, but yeah. So these are the 8 approaches of personality that we will study in this chapter. Very easy, very interesting. You will love it. I'm sure you will love this chapter. Okay. Now, let us begin with the First approach, type approach. Now, there's a big paragraph given in your book which talks about the difference between type and trait approach. So first let us discuss that, and then we will begin with type approaches. Okay. Now, first of all, it is important for us to understand that it is important to understand personality in order to explain behavioral consistencies and behavioral differences. So in order to explain how behavior is fairly consistent across situations and how behavior is different across different situations, we need to study personality from different points of view. Now, across the realm of time, different psychologists have given their own point of views, their own research on personality, and for that very matter, personality has different approaches. 8 of them we will study, but there are many approaches to personality that are not covered in the course of your class 12 syllabus. Okay, but you can obviously research beyond if you are interested. Now, psychologists firstly differentiate between type and trait approach. Now let me give you an example first. Okay, now at school there are different classes, right? So there's class 12th A, 12th B, 12th C, 12th D. So what your teachers do here, or what does the management do here is that the school divides different people, the population of class 12th entire, into different classes, into different groups, into different types according to their subjects. So maybe class 12th A is humanities, B is science, C is commerce. So according to their different commonalities, like common patterns that connect them, your school classifies you into different classes in a very similar manner. Similarly, type approach attempts to understand and examine broad patterns of behavior among individuals and then classify them into different groups or types. So basically understand what is the broad pattern of your behavior and then classify you into different types. Okay, that is the type approach. And type approach is one of the oldest approach to personality. But soon psychologists realize that no, within a type also, different people vary differently, and we cannot classify people into types because it is fairly misleading. Not all people within one type are similar, right? So we cannot classify people into types. It is a very narrow approach. So trait approach was developed. Trait approach said that personality makes you different on the basis of, or people differ on the basis of their traits. So trait approach comprehends personality in terms of different characteristics that people have, different traits. Okay. And type approach. So type approach is one of the oldest, and then trait approach comes. Okay. Type approach is also not in your syllabus, but type approach is bimodal in nature. So that means that either this A or B. And trait approach is modal. Okay. This is bimodal. Bimodal in nature, and this is modal in nature. Okay. Now that means basically not in your course, but yeah, that means that it is like either you will be in this group or you will be this group, or here this means that the population is distributed in this manner. Okay. No need to stress upon this, just an extra knowledge. Okay, bimodal. And yeah. So we have understood the differences between type and trait approaches. Let us start with type approaches. Firstly, I'll suggest you to draw a diagram on the margins of your notes if you have taken the printout. And if you have not taken the printout, then draw a diagram on the sides of your notes. So type approach are of 6 types. Firstly, one was given by Hippocrates. Second was the three doshas. Third was Trigunas, both Indian names. Fourth was given by Sheldon. Fifth was given by Carl Jung. And sixth were type A, B, C, D. Okay. Now let us start with Hippocrates. Now Hippocrates is an ancient philosopher and an ancient physician. And Hippocrates said that before I turn the page, I'll explain you. So Hippocrates and these ancient Greek physicians try to understand personality from a biological point of view. Now, Hippocrates believed that we have different humors in our body. Humors, by humans, I mean liquids. So, humors mean liquids. So, human body has different liquids. So, human body has majorly 4 different types of liquids. First is blood. Second is black bile, the bile juices. Third is yellow bile. And fourth is phlegm. Okay. And the concentration of these 4 humors or liquids in your body will decide your personality according to Hippocrates. Okay. If someone has blood, too much of blood, then the person will be too happy all the time. If a person has too much of black bile, the person will be fairly sad and depressed. That is what he believed. Now, as per these fluids, Hippocrates also talked about the fact that different personality types exist. So, let me turn the page for you. Just a second. So, according to Hippocrates, 4 different types exist. First is sanguine. Let me touch each and every one by one. Second is phlegmatic. Then it is melancholic. And then comes choleric. Okay. Now, sanguine. When people have high amount of blood in the body, according to Hippocrates, this means that they are sanguine. The word sanguine means happy, happiness, pleasure. So that means that they are very life-giving in nature, just like blood is life-giving. They easily adapt to situations. They do not hold into grudges. They have wide range of interests. Basically, they follow their heart. Okay, and they're very cheerful. They are like, adaptive to change. Okay. Now comes melancholic. Now, melancholic people have black bile in excess. Now they are very grounded, very sensitive, very sad, very pessimist in nature, according to uh, Hippocrates. And if you talk about a very ideal situation, then a melancholic person remains sad all the time. But this is highly misleading, of course. So, but it is a very old theory. So, according to Hippocrates, a melancholic person most of the times remains sad. They're prone to analyze, overthink in situations, and then criticize themselves, pay attention to basic details. Okay. And also a fun fact that these are considered to be very punctual. Maybe because they care too much about external environment that they are punctual. Okay. Now they are also perfectionists and unpredictable because they want to be the best. They are sad. That is just a study. Okay, according to Hippocrates. Now, choleric. When it comes to choleric people, they have yellow bile in excess. Now they are ought to be They are seen to be very impulsive, very unbalanced, very sharp. Though they have huge amount of energy, they are very pragmatic in nature. They are very practical, and they always conflict with themselves, but they excel in analyzing situations. Also, greed and arrogance, such traits are found in these people. Now, the fourth one is phlegmatic. So, in people who were characterized as phlegmatic, they had high amounts of phlegm, which meant that these people on the outside were opposite of what they were in the inside. They had extreme emotions. They were highly too positive or too sad, and they tried to find compromises in order to satisfy everyone. And such people are seen to be great performers. Okay. Now, as we have understood the first theory of the type approach, I think we should end the class here. So we will discuss the other type approaches and then trait approaches in the next video. I hope you like this video. Do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And do let me know in the comment section down below if you have any problem. So yeah, thank you. Bye bye.